Well, let's get to our first conversation this Monday afternoon. And again, the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria has reaffirmed its support for ongoing fiscal reforms while calling for the adoption of smart tax infrastructures to enhance revenue generation and promote economic growth. The 16th President of the CITN, Mr. Samuel Agbeluyi, made this known while delivering his opening remarks at the Maiden ICT Summit, which held in Abuja. Mr. Agbeluyi stressed that the traditional methods of taxation must give way to technology-driven frameworks that improve compliance, plug revenue leakages, and enhance transparency. He observed that several countries have leveraged digital tax reforms to increase revenue mobilization, curb tax evasion, and improve the ease of doing business. According to him, Nigeria must embrace these reforms to remain competitive in the global economy. Mr. Samuel Agbeluyi is the president of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. He is live in the studio this afternoon. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Happy New Week to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Happy to be with you.
Yes, I think we should start with a bit of discussion around Nigeria's economy. And I'm sure that you also saw that ratings from Fitch, which everyone has been commenting. Credit rating Nigeria's to B. They said we've improved credibility, reduced near-term risk, and some macroeconomic stability. From the point of the reforms to where we are, what is your take with this, some say, gradual positives that we're beginning to see?
Yeah, thank you. It's a positive one. And if you want me to, my comment about that rating, that the international agencies, international community having confidence in the Nigerian economy. And that is very important to us. Important in the sense that the financial sector thrives on confidence. You take confidence of the people away from the sector, then everything comes into a chaotic situation. So to that extent, it's confident in the economy, and it's not a confidence that is standing on the surface, deeply rooted. The steps, decision taken by this current government about 2 years ago, yes, is coming to fruition. We are seeing the realization of some of the intended expectations by the government. Generally, economic policy decision takes time before it comes to, before people get to see the reality, yes, the impact. But you will agree with me, and most people who have followed the development in the country, objectively we agree with me that the decision as to the removal of fuel subsidy, the removal of the various rate in the foreign market, these are major decisions. It gave us a lot of pain. The pains are not over, yeah, but it is the right way to go. Virtually negligible portion of the population of the country were benefiting from the fuel subsidy. That was not good. It was not sustainable. Now you look at the 18 rate too. That was not sustainable, pumping dollar to defend the naira. When you say Nigeria is a market economy, if you say an economy is market driven, then you allow the players to everything to find its level, yes, to a greater extent. Yeah. It may not be absolutely, but to a greater extent. So in that instance, if you look at the impact of those two decisions, I remember before this government came into power, 2022, 2023, we were using about 98% of our revenue to service debt. That was a recipe for disaster. You don't need to be a genius to know that. The last time President Tinubu had media chat, he said that has gone to 60-something%, yes, and that is about 30% positive variance. Mm-hmm. And once you have 30% positive variance, 30% in any numeric figure journey is a material figure. So, and that means we have more money to do other things. And once we have more money to do other things, because at the end of the day, what is the focus of the government? To make life better for the citizens. Yes. So when you free money from what you are spending to pay debt or to service debt, you have opportunity to do other things. So I tell you, we are not there yet.
Yes.
There is a positive step. And having that kind of rating from agencies like Fitch, it means that there's belief in the country. And once there's this belief in the country, particularly from the international community, it means that we can have more foreign direct investment. We can have more of the international community engaging in our economy, and that is what we need. And as we celebrate this in a way, we also need to tell ourselves that we should stop spreading negative news about this country. The only way we are at the rock bottom, I want to believe, and so we are moving out of that. So the best way, and the only way I think is reasonable for any patriotic Nigerian, is to spread good news about this country. Everything is not as bad as we may want to project it. And of course, let's support our leaders and criticize them when it is necessary. Nobody is saying don't criticize the government or just say yes to everything they do. But let it be objective. Yes. Let it be done objectively, so that those things they are not aware of. If you are in a leadership position, you know what it takes. Yes. I can imagine what the president of the country is going through, what Minister of Finance is going through. You may think it is easy. It is not easy. You may say the offer they elected to serve
for the job.
So I'm not having sympathy for them. But what I'm saying is that once they take a wrong step, let us bring it out and criticize and offer solutions. But when it is good, let us not say it is bad. Because we need that confidence, we need that positive information to move this country forward. And sorry, the statistic is pointing to the fact that a lot of things are turning the corner positively. Yeah,
recovery. I must agree with you too. Let's shift this conversation to the reform bills, which I've had you on different instances to talk about. We've gotten to a point where everyone believes that it should be passed into law anytime soon. But for me, first quarter is gone. What are your expectations?
My expectations are still very high. I in the sense that lot of positive reasons that we have to take that step. Yes. I tell you, these tax reform bills, once they become law, will be in the nearest future. We'll also be talking about the positive impact it's going to have, or it has had on the economy, the way we are discussing the removal of the fuel subsidy. Because not many people believe in the removal of the fuel subsidy. Some people did not believe. Some people did not believe in the manner at which, by which it was removed. Same way the tax reform bill, we have diverse opinion, and that is good for an economic like Nigeria. You can't expect everybody to say yes to everything. Now, that has been properly debated. The House of Rep has done very well. They've said yes to some of the proposals, and they have tinkered with some of the proposals. That is good. That is the essence of a developed or a country that is priding itself as a civilized environment. That is good. We expect the Senate, upon resumption after their break, to also do the needful. They will always tinker with it. These are the representatives of the people. So there are a lot of things they are also seeing that it may bring a lot of a different perspective. But if you look at what the House of Rep has done, the substance of what was given to them are still remaining in the bills. So that means at the end of the day, whatever input will be coming from the Senate, once you retain the substance, let's reduce the number of taxes. That's a substance. Let's make it a working document. Let's show certainty of what is going to happen in the country. And that is very important to me personally as a tax consultant. It's an instrument of ease of doing business for me. So when I have prospective clients from outside the country who wants me to give him a kind of projection as to what will be his tax outlook, liability-wise, in the next 4 or 5 years, I have codified document to look into and say possibly this will be your tax exposure.
Yes.
That has not been the case as we speak. So it's like what we had before now and up to now. It's like winking in the dark when you advise your client outside the country, kind of guesswork. So this, I pray, the National Assembly, now talking about the Senate, we do the needful upon their resumption so that we know that, okay, we have lost a quarter. It's not bad. Better late than never. Let us move forward and ensure that the right thing is done. And this properly handled, particularly with strong political will, has the capacity of turning the fortune of Nigeria for the greater good of all of us.
Interesting stuff. Let's move on. I was talking about tax practices now across the West African continent. And that takes me to WAUTI, if that's the way it's pronounced. And congratulations, you are the president of this association, if I could, West African Association. Tell us more about how it's been and your, how would I say, what are your projections for the association? I know you definitely want to consolidate on what you meet on ground, but where are we with regards to activities of WAUTI and where are you taking them to?
Okay, WAUTI is West African Union of Tax Institute. It's a union encompassing various tax institutes in West Africa. Yes. And you will agree with me, we have predominantly the Francophone and the Anglophone in the country. We have a country where you have the Portuguese that colonized it. So, but essentially, where we are now is that the world has become a global village. And to that extent, no country can pride itself of doing well when your neighbors are not doing very well. And the wisdom behind the establishment of ECOWAS itself in the 70s is right before us. We need to collaborate to move forward. And in doing that, professionals across the region has to, we need this kind of engagement of WAUTI. WAUTI is over 10 years, and we have done a lot. I tell you, I'm proud of what the leaders ahead of me have done. If you go to Ghana, the practice, we do a kind of a regular peer review as to what has happened, where we are. If you go to the other Francophone country, the same thing. There's always been the challenge of language, particularly with the West African Francophone brothers and sisters. But we are trying to overcome that, so that, because at the end of the day, you are not going to get there if you don't have the right skill, right competence by the professionals across this region and across the world to do the right thing in terms of what do you call it, in terms of competence, in terms of how tax professional handle, either you are in the revenue service or you are consultant or you are even in the academy. We need to do the right thing, and the training is important. So we focus on this, and we are happy for the progress and the acceptance of this that has happened in the West Africa.
That's great. So a lot of work is ahead. They said the word for hard work is more work. Are you also thinking along that line?
It's a natural consequence of taking responsibility. Yes, it's never an opportunity to relax. It's an opportunity to do more, give to the society, give back to the society, and of course, once we do what we are supposed to do, the system, humanity benefits. And once that is done, then we can say, okay, we have done very well. Otherwise, it is not about individual, it is about the system, it is about humanity.
Let's move a step forward again, as CITN again quoted to have reaffirmed their commitment to these ongoing reforms. But my question to you now will be smart tax infrastructure. That's talking tech again to promote, of course, economic growth and all of that. But my question is, how are we faring? I know there's been a lot of initiatives by the Institute to make sure that professionals are carried along with regards to tech advancement. Where are we? Are we doing good? Is it helping us improve collection or data collection, or whichever way?
Well, definitely it's helping us, and objectively assessing and evaluating the situation. If you follow FRS, Federal Revenue Service, if you follow the trajectory of what they have done over the years, you will see continuous improvement. And this they have done with ICT. For those of us in the profession, there's a system called tax promas. The way it has helped taxpayer, tax consultant in compliance, the way it has helped us, you don't necessarily need to go to the office to do most of those things we are doing in the past. You file your returns, you pay from using app, and that has made life very easy. And it has reduced human contact. And by virtue of the reduction of human contact, corruption has also gone down in this aspect. Government is benefiting, the consultant is benefiting, and the taxpayers are also benefiting. So we have seen the need, we have seen the gap in knowledge. Why it is often, our focus is often on the federal government. We shouldn't forget 37 other economies in Nigeria. That is 3060 plus the FCT. Yes. How are they faring? If you look at the revenue, internally generated revenue across the country, look at those states that are ahead. There are certain things you see with them. One, their autonomy. Autonomy means that they can hire and fire. They can work on their own under the state government. Once they have this discretion, they are able to hire competent staff, competent personnel. They are able to determine their remuneration, because you can't use, with due respect to everybody, you can't use everybody's rate for people collecting revenue. Yes. That is very important. So they can do all this. If you take this autonomy forward, they are also able to get sufficient and good ICT. So I know some states whereby during a just March, the personal income tax return was done by the end of March. In some state internal revenue services, you just do it at the corner, at the comfort of your office. And in some places, you need to take the document manually there. Everybody must come on board, because Nigeria is our focus. We are not just focusing on any part of the country. We are focusing on everybody. Once we develop together, it is better for us. We can have the aggregate GDP, aggregate of everything, and we'll be happy that Nigeria is developing together. So the role, the place of ICT is important. And having seen that gap, we are doing a lot of training and retraining for our members, whether you are a consultant, whether you are in the government. This is the focus, and we are going to do a lot more in this regard, because the rate of development in the ICT world, the e-economy, is so massive that if you are not on top of your game, a lot of revenues will be lost. You have lot of young Nigerians who are doing very well, very creative, very hardworking, and you probably, if you live in an estate, you see them in the afternoon taking a stroll, and sometimes you may misunderstand them to be possibly jobless people. These are the people who are put on 7 hours job at night, working for Canadian company, working for companies outside the country. Now, I do track that. Lot of state internal revenue services are missing out of this pie. And so, nobody is going to, in most cases, human being will not go to the revenue office and say, okay, I'm making this amount. It's been said over and over again that nobody pays tax with a smile on his face. So if you don't have the technology to track all this, we are going to be missing out of what we are supposed to get. And at the end of the day, the public expenditure is increasing. If it is increasing and the inflow in terms of revenue is not increasing, there will be kind of crisis we have, and we don't want that. As an institute, we want the best for this country, and we keep on supporting and giving solution to the government as to the right way to go.
Interesting stuff. As always, interesting conversation. Before I let you go, let's see the role of inflation. We started with economy again, and let's end with it. Weak Naira, and all that we've seen, and how this might slow the growth that we expect. Are you thinking there might be any effect?
Well, the inflation is always the monster.
Yes.
And across the world.
Yes.
It could be, we can say it is better managed in some jurisdictions than the other.
Yes.
Now, if I should speak to President Tinubu today, if you look at the inflation composition,
yes,
you see the impact of the food inflation. And why are we having food inflation in the country? I have friends, I have colleagues, I'm also a farmer. Many people want to do farming,
yes.
But because of the insecurity, there is a problem. So the government, I'm happy for the budget allocation to the military this year. Good. It has gone far better. But it is not just about the budget. There must be implementation. There must be monitoring and evaluation to ensure that the right things are done. Once people can go to the farm, Nigerians are very hardworking people. This we know. Move from Sokoto to Calabar. Move from Osogbo to Borno. You see Nigerians that are very dedicated and committed. But if they are assured of the security of life and property, they can go to the farm. And this is a blessed country anyway. So if you pick the item of food inflation from that composite, you're already doing very well. And of course, if you look at another aspect, which is energy, with Dangote on board and with the very progressive policy of the government that Naira for crude, I mean, that is making life easy. Once, because a lot of variables within the economic activities of the country depend on this energy, particularly petroleum and diesel. Once this can be put within check, then of course it has a spiral effect on other. So it is yet morning in the day, but we need to celebrate the little sources and make sure that the inflation is kept at bay while we improve on it. The country, I just pray that the government will be focused and ensure that they follow up in the aspect of implementation of what has been put on ground.
Very important stuff. Mr. Samuel Agbeluyi is the President, Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. Thank you so much for starting the week with us on Business Nigeria, despite your tight schedule. We appreciate this. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
All right then. Well, next on